So you're trying to retire early and you're on plan 2, then this video is going to be just for you. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you hit that big red subscribe button to become a member of my community and you don't miss future videos like this one. So when you're on plan 2 and you're trying to retire early, remember that if you do not have 30 years of service in and you're not 65 yet, there's going to be penalties that apply if you decide to collect your pension early. So if you don't want to pay any kind of penalties, then just hold off collecting your pension. There's no penalties for retiring and delaying collecting. Now, if you have your 30 years of service, you're eligible for full benefits at age 62. If you want to collect your benefits before 62, there is still penalties that apply, but they're a lot less. It's only 2% for the first year that you go early and 3% for every year before that. So for instance, going 2 years early, it's a 5% reduction. If you want to go 3 years early, then it's an 8% reduction. It's really not that bad in the scheme of things, especially when you compare it to the type of hit you take if you took Social Security early. So if you're retiring early on Plan 2 and you do not want to take a penalty on your pension, then you have to tap into some other sources or find another job. Remember, while you're on Plan 2, there is no cash that automatically gets saved and accumulated like it does on Plan 3. So that's why it's important to be saving on the side on Plan 2. If you've ever seen a statement while on Plan 2 that has that pot of money in it, that is your total contributions. And if you wanted to tap into that, which you could, you forfeit your pension. So do not take any cash out of your pension plan if you're on Plan 2, because you're going to wipe out your future income. And that's a huge mistake I've seen people make. So if you need more cash while on Plan 2, just tap into some other retirement account that you have. Now, one problem that's unique to Plan 2 is when you're trying to transition and get onto some kind of healthcare plan. So the state has the PEBB benefit, the Public Employees Benefits Board, and it basically gives you healthcare at a discounted rate than what you usually can find in the private marketplace. It's only for public employees and it's a great benefit. Coverages are great, but in order for you guys to actually be eligible to enroll in it, you have to be drawing your pension first when you're on Plan 2. So if you're not collecting your retirement pension, you cannot get on PEBB. I'll make that clear. So if that's the case, what you're going to want to do is possibly look into getting onto COBRA to get you by. So for example, if you're retiring age 63 on Plan 2 and you need to wait until age 65 to get onto Medicare and to get your pension in full, and you don't want to take any kind of penalty, then you can look into getting onto COBRA. It'll give you 18 months of coverage. The costs are fairly identical to what PEBB is anyways, maybe slightly higher in some cases, but that's going to help you to bridge the gap and avoid paying a lot more than that in the private market. So that COBRA coverage can get you to 64 and a half, and then you just have to get some kind of private coverage for the last few months until you turn 65. Also, when you're retiring early, you want to figure out what you're going to do with all your unused sick leave. You can cash it all in, and then you have to pay taxes on the whole thing. Or sometimes people decide just to use their sick leave before leaving, and they'll actually be able to retire 1 to 2 weeks earlier than that, depending on how much sick time they had saved up. Now, the other option you have is you can actually roll your sick leave into VEBA. Now, it's a 4-to-1 exchange. Basically, you get a quarter on the dollar. The money that moves into VEBA is 100% tax-free. It actually grows because it is invested, tax-deferred, and it will come out tax-free. So you never have to pay taxes on this money ever, as long as you use it for medical expenses. So VEBA is a very tax-efficient tool and great way to pay for healthcare. Now, if you have some savings set up, some people wonder, should I just pay for healthcare out of my savings or should I use my VEBA? If you have enough savings saved up above and beyond emergency fund cushion, then using your savings account will probably actually be a better idea than using the VEBA. Money sitting in savings doesn't really do much for you. It isn't growing, especially with today's interest rates. And on top of that, any interest you do get, you still have to pay taxes on it. So using that money first to pay for some healthcare while letting your VEBA accumulate because it is invested and grow tax deferred and come out tax free is usually a much better financial strategy. Again, it will depend on your situation if you can afford to do that. When it comes to Social Security while retiring early, you have the option to start it at age 62 at the very earliest, but you're probably going to take a significant penalty if you do so. So you probably have seen your Social Security statement and there's that full retirement age. It's usually the first number you see in that statement. That's the 100% number of your benefit. So even though you're allowed to touch it before that, keep in mind that it is a penalty or a reduced amount. It is a permanent reduction and it is pretty significant. So tapping into Social Security early is usually a last resort. And I usually don't recommend it unless you absolutely need to. If you want to know the exact steps to take when you're going to retire from the school district, check out this video over here where I outlay the 6 different steps to take. I'll see you guys next week. Remember that your future depends on what you do today.